The demo that we've actually built for you today is a fairly simple manual process that hopefully everybody can identify with. Essentially, it's all built around the change of address. So if we take something along the lines of an insurance company where they have multiple clients, perhaps they get change of address forms or change of contract details forms, but this could be invoicing, it could be customer services. It's essentially based around the fact that an email will be received by the organisation, sent in from the client. That will drop into a caseworker's email inbox. And under manual sort of terms, the caseworker would then obviously log into the inbox. They'd review the email. In this case, it's a change of address form. So what we're going to do is we're then going to log into a back-end system, a CRM system, for want of a better term, and we're going to check that that customer is a live, active customer. So it's we're checking for authenticity there at that point. And having verified that, we're then going to update the contact details within that back-end system from the change of address form that was received by the client. So the manual caseworker is having to re-enter all of that data, and again, this is where the accuracy creeps in. Having done all of that, we'll send an email back out to the customer to say thank you very much. We've processed your change of address, and we'll move that email from the inbox into a processed folder. At the end of the day, hopefully by the time that the caseworker's done that, you've got a happy client. But you can appreciate all of the steps there that a human operative is having to go through, from logging into the email, reading the email, reviewing the attached form, logging into the back-end system, verifying that it's an active client, changing all the details over, saving that, and so on and so forth. Compared to what we would see a robot doing, and that is effectively far fewer steps, in that the robot will be seen to be monitoring the inbox, and as soon as it identifies that there's an email there, it'll pick that email up, log into the system, and do all of those tasks itself automatically. Now, the actual demo that we've set up today, we're going to take 5 emails out of the inbox and process those, just to show you how that robot can do those sequentially and very, very quickly, and give you an understanding of how that might compare to a human operative being able to do that. So if you just bear with me, I'm going to come out of the presentation now and drop into to the demo scenario. So the first thing we're going to look at is the email client, where you can see that we've got 5 emails that have landed into the inbox, all with change of address forms attached to them. And if I just scroll across, you can see here that we've got the actual change of address details form. So this is the form that the robot's going to pick up from the email and transfer the data into our back-end CRM system. If we actually look at the robot itself, you can see here that we're actually in the robotics studio. So this is where we've configured our robot. And if I just scroll up and down, you can see that just a list of sequential tasks that the robot's actually going to undertake. So this is how we've trained the robot to do everything. On the left-hand side, we have a number of assets and controls that we can actually choose to just drag and drop onto this screen to actually configure the robot. So in terms of that configuration, very quick, very easy to do, and very easy to deploy. Once we've built that robot, it's simply a question of clicking on run, and that will activate the robot to do its thing, basically, to go through the process. And what you'll see once we do click run is it will go to the email inbox. It'll look at the emails. It will then log into the back-end system, check the records, and then start to update them. And you'll see that being updated sequentially. And then we'll be able to see that the email at the end of the day has been pushed to a process folder rather than the inbox, and that all the records have been updated in our back-end system. So I'm just going to click on run, so we can see it's looking at the inbox. It's now gone to our back-end client management system. It's logged into that client management system, and it's typed in the account number for the first record. It's found that record, and it's now updating the contact details in that record line by line. you saw that was done successfully. It's moved on to the second record now, and again it's going through exactly the same process of logging in via the account number, updating each of those records, and we're now moving on to record number 3. So that's happening, as you can see, extremely quickly, certainly quicker than I could ever type, and more accurately than I could ever type, and each of those records in turn are being updated. Okay, so we're on to, I think, the final one now. Successfully updated, and that's the process done. So it's now returned me back to the robot screen, but if I scroll down and I now have a look at my inbox, you'll be able to see that actually all of those emails have moved across to the process folder. If I go back to my inbox, it's now empty. Just scrolling across to the client management system, you'll see that now, last updated column, 4th of April 1223, you can see that those top 5 records have now been updated, or last updated, and they've all been updated by bot number 1. If I drill down into that record, you'll be able to see that actually in that system we have an audit record, basically to say that that change of address from the old value to the new value happened, again, 1223 today, and it was updated by robot 1. So that's the robot. It's actually done exactly the same as that human task that we mapped out in the presentation. It's undertaken all of those tasks, and you can see exactly how quickly and accurately that's all been done without any real human intervention. Obviously, I triggered the task, but how that would work in the real world is that robot would constantly be polling the email inbox, and as soon as an email lands, it would pick those up and action them. So what we've seen there, and it's obviously really difficult to sort of compare this against a human, but you know, I think if you consider a human trying to do that task, you're probably looking around 5 minutes for a human to undertake that task, whereas the robot, we probably saw that doing it in about 20 seconds, so a 15 times quicker really for the robot. If we then consider that obviously a human works 8 hours a day, whereas a robot works 24 hours a day, you can see at the bottom of the screen the difference in numbers of transactions that you might get from a robot compared to a human operative. Now, I'm not obviously suggesting that you're going to get 4,320 changes of addresses in a 24-hour period, but if you consider that that robot can do many tasks within that period, it doesn't just have to do the change of address. You might have it doing other things in the time that it's not doing that one task or that one process. You know, you can realistically look to replace a number of human operatives and the processes that they're doing with a single robot.